Recent strong storms have caused sudden flash floods in Houston and many surrounding areas of Texas. Peace Park was hit the hardest. The U.S. National Weather Service issued an emergency alert, urging residents to stay away from flooded roads. On Sunday afternoon, continuous heavy rainfall quickly turned many streets and underpasses into rivers. Doppler radar and weather instruments recorded nearly 10 centimeters, 4 inches of rainfall, with the heaviest accumulation around Peak Park. Forecasts warned that an additional 5 centimeters, 2 inches, could fall later in the evening, making conditions even more dangerous. Water rose rapidly in low-lying areas, small creeks, underpasses, and residential streets. Urban flooding spread into major highways and busy city roads, making travel extremely risky. Local authorities warned that flooding could persist for hours in several parts of the city. Cities and districts including Pasadena, Pearland, Deer Park, South Houston, Bel Air, West University Place, Galena Park, and Jacinto City, as well as neighborhoods closer to downtown such as Greater Eastwood, North Side, Midtown, and Fourth Ward, were placed at higher risk.
Mira el carrito. Oh my God, se va a quedar. No va a pasar.
Videos shared on social media captured the chaos. Residents struggling to wade through deep water in South Houston. An SUV stalled in floodwaters, forcing people to walk toward higher ground. Another clip from an underpass near Interstate 45, I-45, and Wayside Drive showed 2 vehicles almost completely submerged. The National Weather Service once again emphasized residents must avoid flooded areas, especially driving through deep water, as prolonged rainfall could turn the situation catastrophic. Heavy rain on Sunday left many Houston drivers stranded, roads underwater, and even forced some households to clean up flood damage inside their homes. The storms began late in the morning, moving in from the north and lingering for hours. The slow-moving system created dangerous driving conditions across southeast Houston. High water was reported on key highways, including I-10 at Lockwood and a stretch of 610 South near Woodridge. Dozens of vehicles stalled at intersections such as MLK and 610 and near Broadway. Water levels rose quickly, trapping drivers and forcing rescue teams to intervene.
No, ya que uno se trae. No se viene atrás, policía. ¿Dónde le llegan la llanta, Coco? ¿Dónde le llegan la llanta, Coco?
Flooding wasn't limited to the roads. A resident of a South Houston apartment complex reported that 15 to 20 centimeters, 6 to 8 inches of water poured into his unit during the peak of the storm. While the water has since receded, building management relocated him to another unit for safety.
I think somebody helped you.
This storm not only caused major disruption to transportation, but also underscored the vulnerability of Houston's urban infrastructure when confronted with increasingly frequent extreme weather events in Texas. Thank you for following this report. Please stay safe, stay informed, and join us again for the next update.
I think somebody helped you.
A massive undersea earthquake measuring 8.7 on the Richter scale struck off the eastern coast of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula in the early hours of July 30, 2025.
Господи, Боже мой!
The violent tremor sent powerful shockwaves reverberating across the Pacific Ocean, triggering widespread tsunami warnings and forcing emergency evacuation orders in several countries along the Pacific Rim. The event, which unfolded before dawn, has been described by seismologists as one of the most powerful earthquakes to strike Russian territory in modern history, prompting an urgent and coordinated international emergency response. According to preliminary data from the United States Geological Survey, USGS, and Russia's Geophysical Service, the earthquake's epicenter was located roughly 136 kilometers southeast of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, a city of over 160,000 residents that serves as the administrative hub of Kamchatka Krai. The quake struck at a depth of about 19 kilometers, shallow in geological terms, allowing a significant release of energy into the surrounding ocean. Experts warned that this shallow depth amplified the risk of tsunami generation, with the potential to send destructive waves racing across vast stretches of the Pacific. Witnesses reported that the main tremor lasted over a minute, violently shaking buildings, toppling furniture, and cutting off communications in parts of the region. Video clips rapidly spread on Russian and international social media, showing chandeliers swinging wildly, household items crashing to the floor, and terrified residents scrambling out of their homes in the pre-dawn darkness, some still in their nightclothes. Emergency sirens echoed through coastal towns as authorities ordered immediate evacuations to higher ground. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, PTWC, issued alerts for a wide swath of the Pacific Basin, including Japan, Hawaii, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, Alaska, British Columbia, and the entire U.S. West Coast. Officials cautioned that the intensity and height of tsunami waves would vary by location, but warned that hazardous wave activity and strong, unpredictable currents could reach coastlines thousands of kilometers from the epicenter. These waves, even when relatively small, could inundate low-lying areas, damage ports, and pose life-threatening risks to anyone near the shore.
Все, завод тонет.
In Japan, authorities acted swiftly, issuing tsunami warnings for much of the country's eastern coastline, particularly northern regions such as Hokkaido and Tohoku. Local governments instructed residents in flood-prone coastal areas to evacuate without delay. Train services were suspended as a precaution. Schools and public offices were closed, and emergency shelters were opened to accommodate evacuees. Although the first waves to arrive were not catastrophic in size, the Japan Meteorological Agency emphasized that additional waves could follow, possibly stronger, and that no coastal area could be considered safe until advisories were officially lifted. Elsewhere across the Pacific, nations including Australia, the Philippines, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, and Ecuador maintained a state of heightened alert. While forecasters did not expect large-scale destructive tsunamis for most of these areas, the vast energy released by the earthquake warranted precautionary measures across the entire region. In the Kuril Islands and parts of Russia's Far East, rising sea levels caused flooding in some ports, forcing temporary closures of harbor facilities and suspension of fishing operations. Authorities also warned of the likelihood of significant aftershocks in the days ahead, some potentially exceeding magnitude 6.5. These tremors could further compromise already weakened buildings and infrastructure, complicating rescue efforts and recovery operations. Emergency services urged residents to remain vigilant, avoid damaged structures, and follow instructions from Russia's Ministry of Emergency Situations and local disaster response agencies. Experts noted that this earthquake was a stark reminder of the devastating power of natural disasters and the vulnerability of coastal populations around the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region known for intense seismic and volcanic activity. The incident underscored the critical importance of robust early warning systems, well-practiced evacuation procedures, and international cooperation in mitigating the impacts of major geological events.
Because a tsunami warning has been issued. Operation has been suspended because a tsunami warning has been issued.
Although rapid alerts and prompt evacuations are believed to have prevented the worst-case tsunami scenarios in many countries, the situation remained volatile. The risk of powerful aftershocks, localized tsunamis, and secondary hazards, such as landslides or infrastructure failures, remain significant. Governments, scientists, and emergency planners are expected to continue closely monitoring seismic activity in the coming weeks, working together to assess ongoing risks and safeguard millions of residents living across the vast Pacific region.
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare, because awareness isn't fear, it's power.